Hey, this is Sean Lum, and we're going to be doing some Math 9 today, and looking at our first unit, which concerns exponents. So before we actually start talking about exponents and what they mean, we're going to do just a few warm-up questions here. So I have three questions right here. So we have 3 times 3, and then 3 times 3 times 3, and 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. So what I wanted you to do is put the video on pause and answer these questions. And when you're done, you can unpause the video and see how you did. Okay, so hopefully you've unpaused the video and you're ready to check your answers. So for the first one right here, hopefully you came up with the answer of 9. So 3 times 3, single digit multiplication. We should hopefully have that one memorized. Now, maybe slightly tougher, but this 3 times 3 is 9, and so now we have 9 times 3. Now we're back to that single digit multiplication, and we can know, hopefully we know, 9 times 3 is 27. Slightly harder, we have 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Now we know that 3 times 3 is 9, and here's a little trick you can do. We know that this 3 times 3 is also 9. Then we have 9 times 9, and hopefully we'll be able to see that 9 times 9 is 81. So I have three more questions. Now, what this means, when you have an exponent like this, so this is 4 to the power of 2, where 2 is the exponent, and you have this kind of superscript 2 right here. What this means is that it is 4 times 4. Okay, now this 4 to the power of 3 means that it's 4 times 4 times 4. So what this power means is that there's 3 of whatever this big number is. So that means there's 3 4s multiplied together. And this just means there's 4 4s multiplied together. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4 4s multiplied together. Again, what I would like you to do is try to put that on pause, and now you can and then check to see if you're right. So hopefully you're back and you have all these right answers, single digit numbers. We have 4 times 4, and hopefully we came up with the number of 16 right here. Now we have a little bit tougher one, and it's 4 times 4 times 4, and we're going to go, that is 64. Okay. Now, if you had a little bit of a harder time with that, you can do some mental math right there, and just kind of go, we know that this is 16, and so we can times it by 2, which is 32, and times it by 2 again, and that'll be 64. So if we can want to see if we can try to do it in our head. Now, for the last one, it's a little bit tougher. However, with the 3 4s, we know that this right here, these 3 4s multiplied together, this is going to be 64. Now we have 64 times 4, and that's a little bit harder to do. But if you want, you can also just do this way right here, going 64 times 4. We know that 4 times 4 is 16. We bring up the 1 right here. And we go 6 times 4 is 24, and we add that 1, and that means it's 25. So it's 256. Okay, so hopefully you had these three answers right here. So that's going to bring us, and now we're going to talk about what this whole thing means and the different parts of it. So the big number right here, that is called the base. So this one has a base of 4. Now the exponent is the superscript number that is beside it. And the whole thing together is called a power. So what this is again, just like we said before, 4 to with the exponent of 3, or sometimes we say 4 to the power of 3. This just means 4 times 4 times 4. We know that there's 3 of these 4s because it says so right there. We know that it's going to be 4 times 4 times 4. We know that the numbers that are being multiplied together are 4s because of the base right there. Okay. And this is kind of the different parts of powers. Now, powers and exponents can be kind of visually represented, and sometimes we have like these different ways of talking about them. So here's one right here. We have this box, and it is made up of two boxes going this way and two boxes going this way. So this is a what we say a 2 by 2 box. Now we say that it's 2 times 2, or in other words, sometimes we can say that it's 2 to the power of 2. And what this, we'll make a little mess right there, but what this means, it means 2 times 2, and that equals 4. So we say 2 to the power of 2, okay, and which we know is 2 times 2, and that's 4. And we see that there's 4 boxes right here. Now, one of the things that we call when it's to the power of 2, sometimes we say 2 squared. And the reason why we say 2 squared is because, well, this is a square, and the visual representation of something squared is a, well, square. Now, if we have something to, like this one, which is 2 by, I forgot a number right there, so 2 by 2 by 2, this is going to be 2 to the power of 3. This is the visual representation of what 2 to the power of 3. And this is the same as writing 2 times 2 times 2. Now, one of the ways that we say this is sometimes instead of saying 2 to the power of 3, we say 2 cubed, because this, the visual representation of this one, is a cube. Now we know that 2 times 2 times 2, well, 2 times 2 is 4, times another 2, that's going to be 8. And what we see here is we see 8 little boxes here. So here's a box right here, another one. 1, 2, 3, there's 4 boxes. Here's our 5th box, our 6th box, our 7th box, and behind there, we can't see it, but there's our 8th box. And that's why how we get this number right here, and that's why it's called a cube. And I kind of wrote that in there in the PowerPoint. Now I want you to get a little bit of practice, so looking in your Math 9 textbook, I have a couple of questions that pertain to this, and I'll see you in the next video.